Colton, say hi.
Hi.
No one gives a shit about you anyways. Anyways, guys, welcome back to the channel. What's going on? What's cracking? We're here today with Goofball and awesome Ryan Scott, and we're about to take this damn intake manifold apart. So, Goofball here, aka Colton, has the MCC on his car, just like my wife's. And we kind of want to take it apart because one, we're getting this thing powder coated. Was going to get anodized, but to get the finish right, I don't think I'm going to be happy. And plus powder coat with heat and everything else, I just think that's the best route to go. So I'm just going to get the whole thing powdered. Now I have debated, I want your kind of opinion on this because I haven't asked you this yet. I was going to powder the whole thing. So powder, runner's powder, but this piece here is separate. I was going to leave that separate and leave that kind of like polished and I don't know, what do you think? Like just, it's like a separation or powder it also?
Powder it all.
Now why? Because my idea was to leave it separate just because I want to hear your opinion here.
Because then everybody looks, it's just gonna look like a big fucking spacer right there in the center of it.
Oh, that's a good point. No one asked you, Colton. It's not like I asked your opinion or anything, bro. What's your problem? So, all right, we're gonna start taking this thing apart now.
Keep going. They're like, well, for the size it is, they said by the time you put fittings on it, you're gonna see 3-inch zip plates. So they said it ain't even fucking worth it.
Well, I barely even did anything. That's hilarious. That's not hilarious, but it's hilarious. Good thing I'm not reusing these, but that's hilarious, and that's gonna be easy as crap to get out, but still, that is funny as shit. Well, that's junk. It's another tool to add to the Harbor Freight list of stuff that doesn't work anymore. I literally have it's bad when you have a little baggie of stuff that's broken from Harbor Freight. Literally, guys, stuff that's broken from Harbor Freight. Just got a pile. Back to the pile! Last one?
Nice. One more.
Okay. All right, guys. Let him get those real quick. Good?
Yep.
Aha. So those ones are individually O-ringed. I do like that. So guys, let's take a look at this here. I do like that. I thought these were gonna be custom cut, but that means this is much nicer. I do like this. This is just a regular O-ring. Now this in here, this whole big piece, plenum, my understanding is that is not. So taking these out. So you guys can see here, this thing is sweet. I love how the runners are, so if you have a Hypertune like this is bolted then to this piece, I like how this is all one unit. This is, it's freaking badass. So pretty pumped about that. So let's sit that over there. Again, what I'm gonna do here, Colton, could you do me a favor, because I don't wanna lose these. Could you give me a baggie for these? So now taking this one apart, the middle piece, that one was actually already loose. So this is the kind of stuff I'm glad I'm checking over to. I think when I put this back together, guys, what I'm also going to do is use blue Loctite for all this stuff, just to be safe. Don't want it coming apart. I don't want to use red Loctite because it's in aluminum and something that could be technically serviced. So just want to make sure of that. Get down here, the last couple ones. Like that one was loose also, found another one that was loose. Again, that's the kind of stuff you want to be able to check. When I go put this back together, I'll torque it down to. There's no specific torque rating for this, but I'll figure out the length of the bolt into aluminum and then figure out what it is mathematically. So this should pull apart here. Let's see what happens. Do I have a bolt on it still? Am I missing something here? Because it is not pulling apart, bud.
Glued together?
Ah, I think it clamps together, then pulls out. Gotcha. So, that's pretty cool. So what I gotta do next here is take these bolts out for this to then unclamp itself. So I get it now, makes sense. Okay guys, so here the intake manifold is taken apart. Here's the bottom. I'm taking this to get powder coated. The only recommendation I would like to see in the future is this and this being one piece. I already like the fact this is one piece unlike the Hypertune. So this actually bolts directly to it. It's one less failure point in my eyes, but I would love to see this and this is one piece. Again, I understand the bigger the hunk of aluminum he would have to mill down. I get it. I 100% understand why he doesn't. Again, it comes down to cost. This is $1,300 versus some of the $3,000 ones. I get it. So I can understand that. And he uses a proper O-ring here. It's bolted up nicely. There's plenty of meat, as I would call on it, so I'm not worried, but it's the only thing I could even quote unquote gripe. Again, this is the piece that I saw separate. Thought about leaving this polished because it's really nice, polishing all this stuff up and leaving it like that, and then having an anodized clear or some type of clear coat on it, and then everything else would be gloss black, like the engine bay is going to be, just like the wife's. Now again, this does have, you can see the velocity stacks in it here. I do like these velocity stacks. I like the fact it's machined in. This here has one giant groove in it though. So there's 3 separate seals then from the O-ring seal. So this side has the O-ring seal. This side has one giant seal. Now there is no O-ring out there. So this is the style where you actually have one giant piece of rubber. You cut it and glue it together. Yes, that's actually something that's done. That's done in all the big V8 stuff. All those big plenums all use that style. They don't use a one piece O-ring. And same thing that sandwiches these together, okay? This is cut out and grooved for it to fit. This part of it's cut and grooved double time. What I mean by that is this. So you can see the C channel there, right? See the C channel? Here and here, this is one little piece of O-ring, another piece, and you just cut it flush with it, and then an adapter goes in the front. On the male side, and what I mean by male side is this, let's sit this down, try to find room here without, even though it's getting powder coated, trying to be gentle with it. The male side, you can see, oh, let's see if it'll focus. See how it sticks up there? It's not just flat and flush here to press down. It actually sticks into that C groove to really give a nice tight seal and push down on the actual O-ring. Same thing here. I really like that. That really helps seal this thing up. When we're trying to pull it apart, I was like, I can't get it apart. Like me and Colton are like, damn dude, I can't get it apart. So it really is in there tight. I like that. It keeps it from coming apart. I just sent off the part list to the guys over at Dress Up Bolts to make titanium bolts for this. So they're gonna have a full titanium kit for this manifold if you guys wanna change them out to titanium, or SMS can most likely do that too. I'll speak to him about it. I'll get him the list of part numbers and everything, but yeah, pretty happy with this. Again, I wanna put this in perspective too. It is very, very nice. I'm very impressed with the quality for the cost. Is it perfect? I'm always very honest. No, it's not perfect. But for $1,300, it is impressive. This really should be well over $2,000. Easily, period, all day long, and it's not. So I think that really puts them at that price point that people like. It's kind of like the MCC loyalty intake manifold that's on the wife's car. It is $550 with velocity stacks, with a throttle body, with the fuel rail, everything. Already black, everything done for $550 shipped. It is hard to beat that. That is for the budget racer, for the budget guy who wants to make power, and it works. It's sheet metal, so it's a little different. You know, for the most part, they're very reliable. So, you know, they just hit or miss. I've seen some people break them, but that's, I think, only 2 in history that MCC had a problem with this. With this, I don't see this breaking, and I know some people, again, griped about O-rings, but if you look at any other big boy manifolds, they all use O-rings. Ryan Samet's big boy Hypertune, running all the boost in the world, is an O-ringed manifold, to give you perspective. There's no welds on it. So I have a lot of faith in the whole O-ring system, and I'm gonna leave it at that. So enough of that, and let's move on to the next subject. I'm also going to say it is very cold out. We're about to get our first big storm of the year here in southern Pennsylvania. I've been putting overtime in on this right here, this bad boy. These little torpedo heaters are worth their weight in gold, in my opinion. I think I got that for $100. It runs off, you know, whatever size tank. I have 2 tanks, so when one goes empty, I just swap it out. I put one there, and then I take this to get filled for $10. So it's really cheap to get them filled, and it runs. If I keep it on all day, it'll run 8 hours straight. And usually I run it for 20 to 30 minutes, keeps the garage warm for about an hour to 2 hours. This is insulated, what I consider warm. Concrete lets it cold up, turn it back on again. So I get, if I'm using it all the time, about 8 hours worth of use. To me, it's worth it. But no one wants to hear about that. Let's go over to this. So I originally wasn't going to mess with any of this, but there's 2 things I want to look at here today. Well, really 3 things. Number 1, let's talk about the boost control. So we're going to be working with these precision wastegates here. And if you guys know, I was never a huge fan of precision wastegates or precision in general, but when I got this is what everyone told me to use. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go with it. And so far, here's one thing I want to show you guys. See this bottom gate where you'd think there'd be more heat and stuff? It stayed perfectly black. But this top one here, the bottom part turned brown. The top part is black, but it's starting to turn colors itself. And then this also turned brown. I don't know if that's actually from popping the hood, since you really can't see this down here. I'm not sure, but it's definitely turning colors. The other thing I wanted to look at is this definitely has some corrosion on it, right? I'm thinking about having it tumbled just to clean it up some. I don't know if I should or not. It gives feedback there. I might actually contact Powerhouse Racing because I'm just not sure what to do. I've also thought about swapping out the manifold, not for another brand, but for another PHR. I've been looking at V-band setups. I've been looking at the S45. I've been looking at a billet collector. Again, is any of that necessary? 1000% no, because if you guys don't know this, these have a lifetime guarantee. So if it does break, which if you see one of my older videos, I actually did break one. You can see here, they braced it, fixed the welds and stuff for me. And that was just because, well, I was a little too hard on it, right? Doing more than 99% of users do. It was the second one they've ever had cracked. So I think Rad Dan cracked one of them, and then now I have. So perspective, it doesn't happen very often. That being said, it did happen, and they fixed it. Paid for the shipping there, shipping back, and everything. So it's not like, hey, you know, lifetime guarantee, we'll fix it, but you got to pay to ship it here. I mean, they took care of everything. Great company. Sam, Brian, everyone over there, except for Lance. No one really cares about Lance. Everyone else is over there is great. Love you, Lance. You're the best. So yeah, great manifold. But I've just been looking to change things up again. I'm changing everything else. Engine's not going to be done in time, so just been looking at little things to do. So some of the things I want to look at though with the boost control is changing out the springs. It currently has 10.5 PSI springs in it, and I keep it as low as possible for traction control. But since we're going for more power, we're running more boost, that's not going to cut it. I'm going to be using a 3-port Mac valve. My tuner prefers a 3-port. He said we can use a 4-port also. We can keep lower boost this way or lower in here. I just would have to remote mount the boost controller, and there is a little bit of frequency issues. And depending on which one I use, we have to stick with one specific brand if we go with it. So we've decided to stick with the 3-port. I'm going to put 15 PSI springs in this, and that allows us to easily and clearly double the pressure. So no matter what, 30 PSI will be easy. I was running before 10.5 pound springs, hitting 30, 31, and was doing it pretty consistently. So I don't think there's going to be a problem with us hitting 36. Max is going to be 40 PSI with even the turbo I run, that it'll be efficient, right? So I think that's going to be okay. So I need to unbolt this. And the only thing I don't like about this that I wish it had, I like the Turbo Smarts for this reason. It doesn't have a lock collar. It has these little bolts here, right? I need to take all these little bolts off, and I need to replace those with the springs that are inside there. To do so, I'm also going to replace these all with titanium. So a big shout out to Dress Up Bolts right here. Thank you guys very much. They have jumped on board to sponsor the car for this time around. So the engine bay is going to get all new titanium bolts everywhere. The engine bay, every little thing. We're going to be working with them also to do some kits. So there's a lot of things I see they have there, but there's little things they're missing. And it's just like anything. You're not sure the bolt length, the thread pitch. I'm going to go through it all. I'm going to document it. I'm going to send it over to them so they can add it to the website. You can then go there and go, click, I want the trunk kit, which will have like tail lights, the springs, all this stuff. Click, done, go. Click, done, go. Make it as easy as possible. So again, thank you guys very much. Seth over there, thank you. I really appreciate this. I know we've talked years ago about doing something, so I do appreciate this opportunity, man. It means a lot to me. I'll shut up now and go back to this. Springs, so let's come over here. And let's take a look at the little precision diagram here. So hopefully the glare is not too bad. But if you see here on the side, it tells you the PSI or bar that you want to run. In this case, we're going to run around 1 bar, which is technically 14.5 PSI is 1 bar. But in our case, we're going to run 15 PSI, which is going to be a red and a green spring. So if I go in the box here, because it only has 2 springs in it now currently, because we have the 10.5, which is a natural and a green spring. So what we're going to do is take the natural out and replace it with the red one. And we're going to do that for both, okay? So again, we're going to run 15 PSI and take those springs out. Again, this is why you keep the box, you keep all the springs. I keep this all in my basement, makes it nice. Now, the hardest part is clamping this back down on and then getting the bolts on. That is by far the trickiest part, and I'll show you guys how I'm going to do this. Watching some Adam LZ right now, but got 2 red springs ready, got the other wastegate there. I'm going to clean this one up too. These are stainless steel bodies, but it got residue. This is the one that's on the bottom. I'm not sure what got on it, but some residue. Take some metal polish hopefully or something, some Scotch-Brite, clean that up a little bit. But if we come over here, I've got the 3 on the bottom off, flipped it around, and I just keep 3 on it so it keeps enough pressure there. Now when I take these 3 out, I clamp it inside my vise so it comes out. I used to have to hold this down by hand. Now I've got these little rubber clamps. Clamp it in there, take these out, and I'll just slowly let it out. And yeah, this should work. We'll see. It should work. We'll see. So as you guys can see, I had the green spring in it. Definitely saw some heat, the colors coming out of it, but I know that's the green spring there. And then I had this aka natural spring in there, which you see how, I mean, that's easy. We're going to be replacing the natural with this big red spring. So we're going to go from 10.5 PSI to 15. And you're probably wondering why still so low. Again, the whole point of this is so we can get a little bit higher, but just low enough that we can still use traction controlled stuff. I don't want to put like 20, 25 pound springs because I do want to run 93. And at 15 PSI, I feel okay with the higher compression engine. So now I'll put this down the center. Here's where it's gonna be fun with one hand. So put that down the center, get it lined up. Now, taking the part's the easy part. Now putting it back in the clamp, lining this all up, so putting that on there, pressing that down and putting it aside there wouldn't be so bad if it was mounted vertically. But since it's horizontal, makes this a little bit more of a pain in the ass. Usually I have someone else helping me, so I'll see how well this works, but this is not gonna be fun. Okay guys, so both gates are done now, 15 PSI springs in both. But this is what I want to show you guys see. So if you can see here under the light, this light's really bright. If you see here, it's like mostly black, right where the hot exhaust is. If you come around though, so we'll go this way. As we come around, this is the side that you can see from the top of the car. It is turning brown there, but the top part isn't. It's starting to slightly, but not like the bottom. So I thought it was heat. I really do think, guys, anodizing, no, it does tell you this too. It's 100% the light, the UV rays are killing it. This gate's the one on the bottom, and look how black it is. Nice and black still. And that sees more heat. This is the one here. So this one that's further away, this one that's closer to all the heat, did not discolor. So heat didn't kill it. It's literally UV rays. I love anodizing. I think it's awesome, but damn it, that sucks. So it's one of those things, it is what it is, but springs are in it, minus the color. The other thing I noticed, I gotta get this off. I'm not sure what that is, but this one doesn't have my top gate, but my bottom gate does. I wanna try and get that off because I'm gonna put it up here, like so. Yeah, I guess it'll be facing like this. And you don't want that on it, it just doesn't look good. So gotta get that off, but the rest is good. And again, I got my parts ready to ship out and to get coated. I'm pumped to get this on. Pumped to get the engine back. Tom's been really good with updates, and I guess I should talk about that too. So Tom has been giving me updates, and right now things are looking good. So just kind of waiting on some parts to show up to him. I sent a head gasket to him for the machining of the block and stuff. So just waiting for little things to get done, pistons, crank, all that stuff showing up, and he'll get it together and we'll be good to go. So just wait for those parts to show up, finish the car, finish the engine up, and then start assembling it. I have to do my big order, so I do one bulk order directly to Toyota, and it gives me my oil pump, all my fittings, every seal. I have a spreadsheet that I've had from over the years, and it makes my life super easy. I go through it and go, all right, what do I need this time? Go through it, remove what I don't need, order what I do, has the part numbers there, literally copy, paste, send to the Toyota dealer. They take that number then with a quantity list and go through it. Best thing I ever did is keep that. The prices are a little off now, a little dated. I try to update it, but every year Toyota does a price increase. Even during the recession, they did a price increase, so it's just what they've always done. So trying to get the parts on. I am glad that you still can buy all that stuff brand new from Toyota. They could just literally tomorrow be like, fuck you guys, we discontinue it all. I'm glad I can still buy it new from Toyota because I feel a lot better buying those parts. So that's where we're at right now. Again, guys, I'm trying to keep this video short today. Not a whole lot to talk about. So thank you very much for y'all tuning in. Yeah, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.